So then with the Phrygian mode, you're going to be looking out for the flat 2. So you've got the flat 6, just like we did in the natural minor, and then the flat 2. So again, we've got some symmetry going on here between the flat 6 and the flat 2. So just make sure that you can always find that 5th and the root note, and then you're looking for the semitone above that. So straight away with this sequence, we're going to get that combination. Then we get, so these are very unusual sounding. And then we get the uneven combination. That's a beautiful sound actually, from the root to the flat 2nd and the 4th and 5th. You get that kind of sound in Indonesian gamelan music actually, so it's really that sound. That's a very interesting sound. So yeah, I love these kind of combinations that you get here. Then you'll get the, that's very interesting again, from the flat 2 to the flat 3, and then there's the 5th and flat 6th. So landing on that flat 2, and then if you went back, so that these are almost like just immediately giving you a feeling that you're really creating something that's kind of familiar but has a sense of being quite original sounding. And there's the pentatonic. In that sequence it's just pentatonic notes, and then we get landing on the flat 6, and then that one ends up sounding more grounded because it's landing on the 5th. So really notice the intervals there. There's the 5th, the flat 6, the flat 7 gives you more of the pentatonic sound here, just the way that the notes happen to pan out from there. And then from the root you get that beautiful flat 2 and then the 4th and 5th. So that's kind of evocative, mysterious, but then sort of resolved and balanced with the 4th and the 5th. Very interesting. And that's totally suspended sounding, coming from the flat 2 to the flat 3 and the 5 and the flat 6. So all the most colourful notes, 2, 3 and 6. Very interesting sounds. And then there's from the 3rd, 4th, flat 6th. So again, you're spotting the root notes and the 5th, and then you're getting the flat 2 and the flat 6. So you're watching out for those notes, the 11th fret there on the B string and the 13th fret on the top string. Yeah, that comes from finding the root and 5th, the power chord, and then you get those 2 notes above that. We always get those 2 pentatonic notes there. So we always get those 2 pentatonic notes there, and then go back to the top again. So that's a pretty interesting sound, isn't it? And then if we improvise with that. So of course we always like to play those in the Phrygian because we get really nice symmetrical shapes. But those shapes are very, very Scalic sounding. And then if we use the kind of shapes that we were doing, like they're still kind of Scalic sounding, but they've got those they've got those jumps in there. So usually the definition is melodic movement can be scalic or it can be arpeggiated. So scalic is moving through straight through a scale, whereas arpeggiated would be like skipping notes, skipping a note each time. So that gives you the different arpeggio sequences like that, and extended arpeggios, and extended arpeggios that keep going through the extra notes of the scale, have a bit more of a colourful sound. So that difference between scalic or arpeggiated, one is like la 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 la, and the other is like da 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 da, scalic ba da 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 da, versus arpeggio, which is ba da 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 da, which is moving through the notes of a chord, but like a broken chord is a good way of describing it. Basically like that, just doing a chord but broken chord. That's arpeggiated. So what we've got with our two-string patterns is something kind of in between, because we've got some intervals in there that are more chordal, like the third intervals there. There's always a third interval in these, so a bit scalic, but then a third interval, making it a bit more arpeggiated, and then another scalic interval. So this gives you more of a hybrid of scalic and arpeggiated melodic movement, really, but with that suspenseful, often a suspense sound, because it's often skipping a third or skipping a root of the scale. So it's kind of a suspended, arpeggiated, but yet scalic movement. So that's nice. The thing about scalic movement is that it often sounds more melodic and more vocal, because as a vocalist, people much more naturally sing in scale intervals, like da 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 da. People don't often sing in arpeggiated, and unless it's an exercise, or maybe they're singing, a piece of Western classical music they're doing the accompaniment part, and they're sort of singing an arpeggio. I'm almost slightly embarrassed, I shouldn't have done that, but you know what I mean. That's arpeggiated movement, versus scalic movement. Scalic movement will sound like the lead line. So it's often more kind of embellished movement. So we've got a bit of a combination here. We've got that scalic movement, but with those jumps, some of those bigger jumps that are often suspended. Suspended meaning that it's not using the third of the scale a lot of the time, or maybe it's skipping the root. So it's creates the sort of suspenseful sound, because it's skipping some of the key notes. So that's a fairly long-winded account of the sound of these two-string patterns, but I think that they've got something interesting that they add to your playing that a lot of people don't really use them. Occasionally I see guitar players using them, and whenever I do see a guitar player using two-string patterns, it's very clear to me that they've really thought more about what they're doing, and they've studied a different way, or figured out just a different way of moving around the neck, and then they usually have much better navigational skills and better coordination skills across the whole instrument as a result of doing that. I haven't really seen lead guitar players who use two-string patterns that aren't of a certain level. Of course, if I've taught students, there's a lot of my students who know the two-string patterns. It doesn't immediately make you a pro or something like that, but if it's something that you can include into your playing and bring it to a high level, then I think it does really give you a much bigger facility and a much bigger way of phrasing. And you can see the way that I'm moving around with the 2-string patterns. It makes me start to embellish things. It makes me embellish things in a completely different way than if I was just kind of stuck in the regular, stuck in the regular pentatonic box. That's wonderful. You never want to stop doing that, but if you have these 2-string patterns, you're suddenly just much more likely to play all kinds of different things and just get out of one part of the neck, move into another part of the neck, and suddenly everything feels fresh again. And then, as we found, expanding it into different modes, different scales, then you start to find all kinds of unusual sequences and really beautiful sounds. And don't forget, there's so many different permutations. It doesn't have to be played straight through or straight down, straight up or down. You can up one, down the other, or up and then back and up and back, or down and up, or slide around each one, do it more freely. There's all kinds of different things that can come out of them, and they're probably my favorite thing. They're just the most useful kind of tool that I've found across any different way of playing different scale shapes or sequences. Really, the 2-string patterns are probably the most sort of profitable thing that I've really spent the time working on, and I have to keep reminding myself to keep going back to it and keep freshening it up, because just so much good stuff seems to come out of it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that. Thanks very much for watching this demonstration, and I hope you enjoyed the exercises. Take your time to learn each note with the tab and the diagrams, and then just use these demonstrations just as more inspiration and reasons why to learn this stuff and how to use it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the next one.
If you enjoyed this video and want to access my complete range of guitar courses and get exclusive new lessons every month, you can start a membership subscription now. The Play Lead Guitar program offers a powerful, systematic way to build a complete set of skills as a lead guitarist and professional musician. Every new module will build on what you've learned before, strengthening the fundamentals that will translate into any style of playing, always focusing on the tools professional guitar players really use to improve their playing and get results. The videos feature synchronized notation, in-depth lessons that break down every technical aspect, and practice demos that give you the perfect support to drill these skills effectively. Visit the website to find out more about the structure of the courses, special offers for membership, and massive discount bundles to look out for. You can start a free membership and get samples of new material, or dive in with a 7-day free trial and explore everything on offer. Full membership also gives you access to the Indian Classical Guitar Academy. This material builds incredible universal skills for any musician. You will find so many super targeted exercises and scale theory lessons here that will massively develop your core musicianship skills, whatever style you want to play. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next video.